So, would you like to tell everyone who you are and where you're from? I sound like Cilla Black when I said that.
So my name's Chris Beevers. I'm originally from Yorkshire, so I'm an adopted northeasterner, but I've been in the northeast for the last um, best part of 18 years
Wow.
since I came up to university, and nowadays I'm working in financial services. So I'm working as a financial advisor. Um, with both individuals and businesses across the region and further afield, really.
How has lockdown been for you?
It's been all right, actually. Yeah, I mean, it's been very different, obviously, and I think the number of video calls that I've done the last few months must be running well into the hundreds now. I've got two kids at home as well who are 8 and 11, so they've had a combination of homeschooling, the eldest one getting back to school for the last few weeks. My wife is also self-employed, so she's also working at home, and we've got a crazy dog as well who, is loving all the attention. So it's been good, really. It's been nice to get that flexibility of just dipping in, dipping out of what's happening, with the kids or with my wife, and spending probably a lot more time than usual together as a family, which has been lovely. So yeah, can't complain really.
One question I do have, if you have a pension pot, or realistically 5 or 6 little pension pots, is it better to consolidate it in one place, or can I leave them as they are?
I guess there's no fixed answer to that, and again, it comes back to what do you want to achieve with it. I think the main thing, Steve, is that you're taking control of that. So if those pension pots, whether there's one, two, three, four of them, do you know how that pension is invested? Is it invested in the way that you're comfortable with? Is it invested in the way that is in line with your attitude to risk? And so from there, you can then extrapolate. Well, actually, I'm better off changing this or changing that or consolidating. The one thing I would say about consolidating into one pot is that you're giving it the best opportunity to compound and grow by using the economies of scale
Okay.
of the amount of money that's in there, really.
So you're on the board of trustees of something called the Pi Project. Would you like to tell everyone what that is?
Sure. So the Pi Project is a charity which is based in the Northeast. So Pi is Primary Inspiration for Enterprise. And the charity was set up about 6 or 7 years ago with the purpose of helping to drive aspiration in primary age children.
Wow.
So we give the schools that progress to the second stage, we give them a pot of seed money each. They have to go through an interview process to appoint, general manager, sales manager, all that kind of thing. And then they have to come up with a business using that seed money that they think is going to generate the most profit that they possibly can. Any profit that they make on top of the seed money, they get to keep. And there's also a monetary prize for the top 3 schools in each cycle that they can then use towards, well, anything within the school.
So can I ask you, what's the best piece of advice you've ever had?
So in terms of advice, I think I try and assimilate information from lots of different sources, and I do lots of reading and that kind of thing. But in terms of specific pieces of advice, I think when I joined the business that I was previously at, the founder of that business, who's a guy that we both know, Richard Hogg, I'd come from an environment where it was very much expected to put on a professional mask, if you like. And one of the first things that Richard told me was, be yourself, let down your guard, be vulnerable, let people see the real you, which is exactly what you were talking about before as well, Steve. But I think, and I took that on board, and that totally changed my style of how I interacted with other people in a professional setting. But I think by doing that, that totally also transformed the level of relationship that I was able to create with them.
No, but again, this is why I like to do this, because a lot of people do live streams, but they just focus on the purely business specifics of plug in something or they get paid to do it. As I want to actually get to know the people and the background and the story. Anyway, back to the questions. If you were to give advice to your younger self, what would it be?
So I think the main thing that I would like to go back and impart on myself is that you've got, well, there's two things I think. The first one is that you've got to do it. You've got to do it yourself. Nobody's going to take responsibility for your success other than yourself. And I think if I'm critical around how I went about the early part of my career, part of me was probably expecting somebody to see potential in me and take a chance on me. And I've got to the stage now where you realize that, you're not in a movie. That's not going to happen. You've got to take responsibility for your own success, like I say. So that's one thing that I think I could have learned earlier on in my career. The second thing, it's a realization that came to me 4 or 5 years ago, I think, but it's that if there's something that you're not looking forward to doing, you're never going to feel like it, whether it's now or something that you're trying to put off for later in the day or later in the week or however you're trying to kick that can down the road. The reality is you're never going to feel like it. So just front up and do it now. Get it out of the way because you'll feel a lot better once you have done.